Imagine a country made up of 7,641 islands, where a full month of rent costs less than a single night in a New York hotel room, where the women have been crowned Miss Universe 5 times, and where a complete stranger will invite you into their home for dinner within 10 minutes of meeting you. Now imagine that country is 2 hours from Japan, 3 hours from Australia, and completely off the radar of most Western expats who are still overpaying for life in Thailand or Bali. This is the Philippines, a tropical archipelago stretching across the Western Pacific, home to 115 million people, and quietly becoming the #1 destination for budget-conscious foreigners looking to live like royalty on a fraction of what they spend back home. Today, we are breaking down everything: the cost of living that makes your jaw drop, the women who dominate international beauty pageants, the culture of warmth that foreigners describe as life-changing, and the dark side that nobody warns you about before you book that one-way ticket. Before we dive in, if you are watching this and dreaming about a life where your money stretches 5 times further, hit that subscribe button right now. Every week, we break down the most affordable countries on Earth so you can stop surviving and start actually living. Drop your country in the comments and tell me what time it is where you are right now. Let us get into it. Chapter 1. The country where $200 gets you a home. Let us start with the number that brought you here: rent. In the Philippines, $200 a month is not some rundown shack in the middle of nowhere. That is a clean, furnished one-bedroom apartment in a mid-sized city like Dumaguete, Iloilo, or Tagbilaran. Air conditioning, Wi-Fi, a balcony overlooking palm trees. $200. Want to live in a bigger city? In Cebu, the second largest metro in the country, a modern studio apartment near the business district runs $300 to $400 a month. In Manila, the capital, you can find decent places in safer neighborhoods for $400 to $500. Compare that to Bangkok, where similar apartments start at $600, or Bali, where anything livable near the tourist areas now costs $700 or more. But rent is just the beginning of the equation. The real shock comes when you start eating. A plate of chicken adobo with rice at a local carinderia, which is a small family-run eatery, costs between $1 and $1.50. A full meal at a mid-range restaurant with drinks rarely exceeds $8. Street food like barbecue skewers, lumpia, and banana Q runs 20 to 50 cents per piece. Groceries follow the same pattern. A kilogram of rice costs less than $1. Fresh mangoes, the best in the world according to the Guinness Book of Records, cost about $1.50 per kilo in season. Eggs, vegetables, fish, straight from the morning market, all absurdly cheap by Western standards. Monthly grocery bills for a single person eating well come to about $100 to $150. For a couple cooking at home, with occasional restaurant meals, $200 to $250 covers everything. Now, let us talk utilities. Electricity is actually the one expense that surprises people. The Philippines has some of the highest electricity rates in Southeast Asia, roughly 20 cents per kilowatt hour. If you run air conditioning all day, your bill could hit $80 to $120 monthly. Most expats learn to use fans during the day and AC only at night, bringing bills down to $40 to $60. Water costs $5 to $10 monthly. Internet, $20 to $30 for fiber connections, reaching 50 to 100 megabits in major cities. Add it all together, a single person can live comfortably in the Philippines, not surviving, but genuinely enjoying life, for $800 to $1,200 per month. A couple can thrive on $1,200 to $1,800, and if you move to smaller cities or rural coastal towns, those numbers drop another 20 to 30%. There is a reason the Philippines consistently ranks in the top 5 cheapest countries for expats worldwide. Your money does not just stretch here, it multiplies. But the low cost of living is only half the story. What really keeps foreigners from ever leaving is something money cannot buy. Chapter 2. The friendliest people on Earth, and the science proves it. Here is something that will reframe everything you think you know about Filipino culture. In 2023, Gallup conducted their annual Global Emotions Survey, polling people in over 140 countries about positive experiences, community support, and daily joy. The Philippines ranked number 1 in the world for positive emotions, not top 10. Number 1. This was not a fluke. The Philippines has appeared in the top 5 of this survey repeatedly since 2012. And any foreigner who has spent more than a week there will tell you the data matches reality perfectly. Walk into any neighborhood in the Philippines, from the dense streets of Manila to a tiny fishing village in Palawan, and something happens that does not happen anywhere else. People smile at you, not the polite, forced smile of customer service, a genuine, full face, eyes crinkling smile that says, "I see you, welcome here." Within minutes of sitting down at a local eatery, someone will start a conversation. Where are you from? How long are you staying? Have you tried the sinigang? Before the meal is over, you will have been invited to a birthday party, a basketball game, or someone's grandmother's house for Sunday lunch. Filipinos have a concept called bayanihan. The word comes from the old practice of villagers literally carrying a neighbor's entire house on bamboo poles to help them move. Today, it means something broader. It means community first, always. When a typhoon hits, neighbors do not wait for government aid. They cook for each other, share generators, rebuild walls together before sunrise. For expats, especially those coming from individualistic Western cultures, this level of communal warmth can feel overwhelming at first. A neighbor might bring food to your door unannounced. Your landlord might refuse payment for a minor repair because she considers you family now. The security guard at your building might memorize your grocery delivery schedule so he can help carry bags. This is not performance. This is not because you are foreign and wealthy by local standards. Filipinos treat each other with the same warmth. The culture is built on a foundation of hospitality so deep it has its own word, malasakit, which translates roughly as genuine concern for others that compels action. There is also the English factor. The Philippines is the third largest English-speaking country in the world, behind only the United States and India. English is taught from elementary school, used in business, government, and media. You will never feel isolated by a language barrier the way you might in Thailand, Vietnam, or Japan. But let me be honest with you. The friendliness is not unconditional. Filipinos are warm, but they are also observant. Foreigners who arrive acting superior, who treat service workers like servants, who are loud or disrespectful, they notice. They will still smile, but the invitations stop coming. The warmth becomes politeness, and there is a difference. Respect the culture, show genuine interest, and the Philippines opens up to you in ways no other country on this planet can match. Speaking of things that open up, let us talk about something the internet will not shut up about. Chapter 3. The beauty pageant capital of the world. The Philippines has won the Miss Universe crown 5 times. In a competition dominated by countries with 10 times the wealth and global influence, this small archipelago keeps producing women who stun the entire world on an international stage. But here is what matters more than crowns. Filipino beauty is not manufactured, it is genetic diversity in human form. The Philippines sits at a crossroads of Malay, Chinese, Spanish, and American ancestry. Centuries of cultural blending created a population with an extraordinary range of features: warm brown skin, high cheekbones, dark expressive eyes, and hair that catches light like polished obsidian. Walk through SM Mall in Cebu on a Saturday afternoon and you will understand what no photograph can capture. It is not that every woman looks like a model, it is that beauty here comes in such variety. The tall morena with indigenous Visayan features, the mestiza with traces of Spanish and Chinese heritage. The petite Ilocana, with sharp cheekbones and a quiet confidence that fills a room. Filipino women also carry themselves with a specific kind of grace. There is a cultural concept called mahinhin, which describes a woman who is modest, gentle in movement, and quietly strong. It is not submissiveness. It is controlled power. A woman who knows exactly what she is worth and does not need to announce it. Now, let us address what many foreign men think they know about Filipino women. The internet is full of videos from guys painting a picture that every woman in the Philippines is desperately seeking a foreign husband. That narrative is disrespectful to a country full of educated, ambitious, independent women. The truth is more nuanced. Yes, some Filipino women are open to relationships with foreigners, but the majority are focused on careers, education, and building their own lives. The Philippines produces more female college graduates than male ones. Women dominate industries like business process outsourcing, healthcare, and education. The idea that Filipino women are sitting around waiting to be rescued is an outdated fantasy that says far more about the men spreading it than the women they are discussing. That said, Filipino women do value partnership differently than many Western women. Family is central. Loyalty is expected and given. When a Filipina commits to a relationship, her family becomes your family. Her mother will call you. Her siblings will text you. You are not dating one person. You are joining an entire ecosystem of love and obligation. This is beautiful, but it comes with expectations. You are expected to help, to contribute, to show up. Filipino relationships are not transactional, but they are reciprocal in ways that some Western men find surprising. Respect the culture, show genuine interest in who she is as a person, and a relationship in the Philippines can be one of the most fulfilling experiences of your life. Chapter 4. Islands that make Bali look crowded. 7,641 islands. Let that geography sink in for a moment. The Philippines is not one place. It is thousands of places, each with its own character, its own microculture, its own version of paradise. Start with Palawan, consistently voted the most beautiful island in the world by travel magazines. El Nido sits on the northern tip, where limestone karst formations rise from turquoise water like the bones of ancient giants. Secret lagoons hide behind rock walls. You enter by kayak. The underground river in Puerto Princesa flows 8 kilometers through a cave system filled with stalactites, bats, and silence so thick you can feel it pressing against your chest. Then there is Siargao, the surfing capital of the Philippines. In 2010, Siargao was an unknown island with dirt roads and no ATMs. Today, it hosts international surf competitions, has boutique coffee shops, and co-working spaces, yet still maintains a village feeling that Bali lost decades ago. A beachfront cottage there costs $15 to $30 a night. Monthly rentals for furnished places run $300 to $500. Cebu offers a different lifestyle entirely. It is urban enough to have modern hospitals, international schools, and world-class diving. Moalboal, on Cebu's west coast, has a resident school of millions of sardines visible right from the shore. You swim out 20 meters, and suddenly you are inside a moving silver tornado of fish. Above you, sea turtles glide past like they have appointments to keep. Bohol gives you the Chocolate Hills, 1,768 perfectly symmetrical mounds spread across 50 square kilometers that turn brown in dry season, looking exactly like rows of giant chocolate kisses. The tarsier, one of the smallest primates on Earth, with eyes bigger than its brain, lives exclusively in these forests. Batanes, at the very northern tip, feels more like Ireland than Southeast Asia. Rolling green hills, stone houses, weather-beaten lighthouses, and a population of only 18,000 people. No traffic, no malls, no noise, just wind and ocean. and the feeling that time moves differently here. The Philippines gives you options no single country can match. Want a bustling city with cheap rent and fast internet, Cebu or Davao? Want a quiet island where you know everyone by first name within a month, Camiguin or Siquijor? Want world-class surfing and a digital nomad community, Siargao? Want absolute isolation, Batanes? This variety is the Philippines' greatest asset for someone looking to relocate. You do not commit to one lifestyle. You can island hop until you find the place that matches exactly who you are. Chapter 5. The dark side nobody puts in the thumbnail. Now I need to tell you what the highlight reels leave out, because moving to any country without understanding its challenges is a recipe for disappointment. Traffic. Manila's traffic is not bad, it is apocalyptic. The average commuter in Metro Manila spends 2 to 3 hours per day stuck in traffic. Some routes that cover 8 kilometers take 90 minutes during rush hour. This alone drives many expats out of the capital and into secondary cities where 10-minute commutes are still possible. Natural disasters. The Philippines sits directly on the Pacific Ring of Fire and in the path of an average 20 typhoons per year. Some are minor, some are catastrophic. Typhoon Haiyan, in 2013, killed over 6,000 people and displaced 4 million. Earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and flooding are part of annual life. You must factor disaster preparedness into your living plan. Choose your location wisely. Corruption and bureaucracy. The Philippines ranks 115 out of 180 countries on Transparency International's Corruption Index. Getting anything done through government offices, from visa renewals to business permits, requires patience, measured in months, not days. Many expats hire fixers, local contacts, who know which window to approach and which form to file. Poverty. Despite economic growth averaging 6% annually before the pandemic, 23 million Filipinos still live below the poverty line. You will see it: children begging at intersections, families living in structures made of salvaged wood and tin along riverbanks. The contrast between the gleaming malls of Bonifacio Global City and the informal settlements 5 minutes away is jarring and impossible to ignore. Internet reliability. While major cities now have fiber reaching 100 megabits, many islands and rural areas still run on mobile data that drops during storms. If your income depends on stable internet, location choice becomes critical. Cebu IT, Park, Clark, and parts of Manila are reliable. A random island in the Visayas might leave you disconnected for days after a typhoon. Healthcare quality varies dramatically. Manila and Cebu have world-class private hospitals. Street Luke's and Makati Medical Center rival any facility in Singapore, but move to a small island, and the nearest hospital might be a 4-hour ferry ride away. Foreigners should always carry comprehensive health insurance and keep emergency evacuation coverage active. The Philippines is not a fantasy. It is a real country with real challenges, but millions of foreigners live there happily because they went in with open eyes and chose their location wisely. Chapter 6. The food that turns first-time visitors into permanent residents. Nobody moves to the Philippines for the food initially. Then 3 months later, they cannot imagine eating anywhere else. Filipino cuisine does not scream for attention the way Thai or Japanese food does. It does not have the global marketing machine of Italian or Mexican cooking. But once it finds you, it hooks you with a depth of flavor that only makes sense when you understand the history behind it. Start with adobo, the national dish by popular consensus, though never officially declared. Chicken or pork braised in vinegar, soy sauce, garlic, bay leaves, and black peppercorns until the meat falls apart and the sauce reduces into a dark, glossy, tangy masterpiece. Every family has their own recipe. Every grandmother insists hers is the correct one. They are all right. Sinigang is the soup that fixes everything. Tamarind gives it a sour backbone that hits your tongue before the warmth of the broth spreads through your chest. Pork belly, shrimp, or fish swimming with kangkong greens, tomatoes, radish, and long green peppers. Filipinos eat sinigang when they are sick, heartbroken, homesick, or celebrating. It works for all of these. Lechon, the whole roasted pig, is the centerpiece of any Filipino celebration. In Cebu, the skin comes out so crispy it shatters like glass when you tap it, while the meat inside stays impossibly juicy. Anthony Bourdain called Cebu lechon the best pig he had ever eaten. The man ate professionally in 100 countries. When someone with that resume singles out your regional dish, it carries serious weight. Then there is the street food universe. Balut, the fertilized duck egg with a partially developed embryo inside, terrifies foreigners and delights locals. Eyesore, grilled chicken intestines on a stick, sounds bizarre until you taste the charred, vinegar-dipped perfection. Kwek-kwek, deep-fried quail eggs in orange batter, sold for 20 cents each from carts on every corner. Halo deserves its own monument. Shaved ice, layered with sweet beans, jellies, coconut strips, purple yam ice cream, leche flan, and evaporated milk. It looks like chaos. It tastes like joy. In the brutal Philippine summer, when heat indexes hit 45 degrees, halo is not a dessert. It is survival. The food costs almost nothing. A full day of eating, 3 meals plus snacks from local places, can cost $5 to $7. Even if you eat at nice restaurants for every meal, you would struggle to spend more than $30 in a day outside Manila. Chapter 7. The expat economy and how to actually make it work. Living cheap is meaningless if you have no income. So let us talk about how foreigners actually sustain themselves in the Philippines. The most common path is remote work. The Philippines time zone is 12 hours ahead of US Eastern, making it ideal for asynchronous work. If your job does not require you to be on camera during American business hours, you can work mornings and have your afternoons free for the beach, the gym, or exploring a new island. Digital nomad visas do not officially exist in the Philippines yet, but the government announced plans for a special visa program multiple times since 2022. Currently, most long-term foreigners use the Special Resident Retirees Visa, available to anyone over 35, with a small deposit or the 9. A tourist visa extended month by month at immigration offices. It is not the cleanest system, but thousands of expats navigate it without issue. Teaching English online pays $10 to $25 per hour, depending on the platform and your qualifications. From the Philippines, that hourly rate translates to an extremely comfortable lifestyle. 20 hours per week at $15 per hour gives you $1,200 monthly, enough to live well in any city outside Manila. Some expats open small businesses, restaurants, dive shops, guest houses, co-working spaces. Philippine law requires 60% Filipino ownership for most businesses, meaning you need a local partner. This creates risk. Choose partners carefully, use proper legal contracts, and start small before investing heavily. Others find opportunities in the growing freelance economy. Graphic design, video editing, copywriting, and virtual assistants are all services you can sell globally while living in the Philippines. The combination of low expenses and international rates means you can work fewer hours and still build savings, something almost impossible in expensive Western cities where rent alone consumes half your income. The key principle is this: earn in dollars or euros, spend in pesos. The exchange rate, as of 2025, hovers around 56 to 58 pesos per dollar. That ratio is your greatest financial advantage. Chapter 8. Where to actually live. A breakdown by lifestyle. Not all Philippine cities are created equal. Your ideal location depends entirely on what you want from daily life. Cebu City is the most popular expat choice And for good reason. It balances urban convenience with island access. Modern hospitals, international restaurants, reliable fiber internet, and a domestic airport with flights to everywhere. 30 minutes south, you hit beaches. An hour north, you reach world-class diving. The expat community is established, but not overwhelming. Dumaguete calls itself the City of Gentle People. Population around 130,000. A university town with a young energy, walkable streets, and a waterfront boulevard called the Rizal Promenade, where locals gather every evening to eat corn and watch the sunset. Rent here averages $150 to $250 for a nice apartment. The dive sites of Apo Island sit 30 minutes offshore. Expats here tend to be quieter, more intentional about their lifestyle, less interested in nightlife, and more drawn to community and nature. Davao, on the southern island of Mindanao, surprises everyone who visits. Clean streets, low crime, fresh durian fruit sold on every corner, and Mount Apo, the tallest peak in the Philippines, visible from downtown. Davao has a reputation for strict law enforcement that keeps it safer than Manila. The cost of living runs slightly lower than Cebu, and the city has a calm, orderly energy that appeals to families and retirees alike. Siargao works for surfers, creatives, and digital nomads who want community without crowds. The island has grown rapidly, but still lacks many conveniences. No major hospital, limited shopping. Internet works, but slows during peak hours. If you need reliability and infrastructure, Siargao is a vacation, not a base. Clark and Angeles in Pampanga Province, north of Manila, offer an interesting middle ground. Former U.S. military bases turned economic zones with wide roads, low density, international schools, and easy access to Manila's international airport. The area attracts retirees because it feels more organized than the capital, while providing every amenity. Chapter 9. Filipino Culture Decoded for Outsiders. Understanding Filipino social norms will save you from a dozen uncomfortable situations in your first month. First, the concept of haya. Haya translates loosely as shame or face, similar to the Asian concept of saving face, but with distinctly Filipino characteristics. A Filipino will rarely say no directly to your face. If you invite someone and they say maybe, or next time, or I will try, that very often means no. Pushing for a direct answer causes haya, embarrassment for both parties. Second, Filipino time. Events start late, always. A party invitation for 7 means people begin arriving at 8 or 8:30. A meeting scheduled for 2 might start at 2:30. This is not disrespect, it is cultural rhythm. Once you stop fighting it and adjust your own expectations, it becomes oddly freeing. Third, family obligations. Your Filipino partner, friend, or employee likely supports extended family members financially. A portion of every paycheck goes to parents, siblings, nieces, and nephews. This is not optional. This is love expressed as obligation. Filipinos call it padala, sending money home. Do not judge it. Understand that relationships in the Philippines come with an extended network of mutual support. Fourth, religion. The Philippines is approximately 86% Catholic, the only predominantly Christian nation in Asia. Faith is woven into daily life. Offices have small altars, taxi drivers hang rosaries from rearview mirrors. The Santo Niño festival in Cebu draws millions annually. Holy Week is taken seriously, with some devotees actually having themselves crucified on wooden crosses in Pampanga. Fifth, resilience. Typhoons destroy homes every year. Poverty touches millions. And yet Filipinos laugh. They joke during disasters. They share food when they have almost nothing. They find music in suffering. This resilience is not ignorance of problems. It is a conscious choice to find joy despite them. It is the thing foreigners admire most. and the thing that makes leaving the Philippines so difficult once you have felt it. Chapter 10. The honest verdict after everything. So here is where we land, after looking at every angle of life in the Philippines. This is not paradise. No country is. The heat is relentless. The bureaucracy tests your patience weekly. The poverty can weigh on your conscience. The distance from family back home hits harder than you expect on holidays and birthdays. But here is what the Philippines offers that almost nowhere else can match at this price point. A life where financial stress dissolves because your basic needs cost almost nothing. A social environment where loneliness becomes nearly impossible because the people around you genuinely want connection. Natural beauty so diverse that you could spend 10 years exploring and never see the same view twice. And a pace of life that reminds you daily that the Western obsession with productivity is not the only way to be alive. The Philippines does not work for everyone. If you need perfect infrastructure, German efficiency, or Japanese reliability, you will be frustrated. If you cannot handle unpredictability, occasional power outages, or plans changing at the last minute, this is not your country. But if you are the kind of person who values warmth over efficiency, experience over possession, and community over convenience, the Philippines might just be the best decision you ever make. $800 a month, 7,000 islands, 115 million of the friendliest humans on the planet, and a life you did not know was possible until you stepped off that plane and felt the warm air hit your face for the first time. So tell me in the comments, would you do it? Would you trade the expensive grind for a simpler, warmer, more connected life on the other side of the world? And if you are already there, what do you wish someone had told you before you arrived? Hit like if this changed how you see the Philippines. Subscribe if you want more honest breakdowns of affordable countries around the world. And share this with someone who keeps complaining about rent, but has never considered that the answer might be 7,000 islands away. I will see you in the next one.